In 1999, a Turkish pop singer named Tarkan came out with a song that in a weird way contributed to someone being punched in the face. I was at home watching MTV, and the show's host introduced his music video, saying, "Here's the latest from steamy Turkish pop sensation Tarkan, who with his sexy new song Shimarik is bound to make the girls in your town go head over heels." So the video for his new song Shimarik starts playing, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, this song's alright. I'm not hating it, but I'm not digging it either. But then the song's chorus kicks in, and every time the chorus ends, it's punctuated with two loud kiss sounds. It's like song, 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 chorus, and it's pretty embarrassing. It's just a real jarring part of the song. It brings way too much attention to itself. So in the end, I decide I'm not a fan of the song, but I figure maybe the girls in my class would like it if they heard it or something. And I get a sinking feeling in my stomach when I remember the girls in my class. And I realize that this song has the potential to ruin my entire school year if they were to ever find out about it. So I go to school the next day and I gather up all the guys in my class. I tell them about the song. I tell them about the kissing part. I tell them about the chaos it'll bring if the girls find out, and they just don't get it. They look at me like I'm crazy, and I'm called a madman, and I'm left all alone, rambling about how Tarkan will be the end of us all. So of course the girls end up finding out about the song, and throughout that week, what I tried to warn everyone about starts happening. The ugliest girl in our class gets right up in my friend's face, and she does the kiss kiss at him, just like in the Tarkan song. So my friend panics and he gets grossed out, and he asks her what the hell she's doing. And she tells my friend, "Relax, it's just a song, silly." And she giggles to herself as she walks away. The most popular girl in class walks up to another friend and does the same kiss thing. And when my friend happily goes up to her in recess and asks her if she wants to go to the movies with him that weekend, she rolls her eyes and she tells him, "What are you even talking about right now? It's from the Tarkan song. Geez, calm down." And her and all her friends laugh in his face, and he leaves feeling like shit. And I'm watching all of this happen from the shadows, sad for what my classmates are going through, but also feeling vindicated because I fucking knew this was gonna happen. What they failed to realize is that Shimarik isn't just a pop song. Shimarik is a weapon. The girls in my class saw the kissing part in the chorus, and they knew it was the perfect attention-grabbing thing for them to latch onto, just so they could fuck with us. Before that song, if a girl liked you but you didn't like her back, that was the end of it. She couldn't cross that unspoken line. She'd just have to deal with the fact that you were off limits to her. With Shimarik though, now that same girl could harass you with kisses all she wanted, and you couldn't say shit because then she could just act offended and say, "Calm down, it's just a song, what the hell's wrong with you?" So after a week of them doing their kissing thing, we were forced to just ignore their advances, but most of the time, that only made things worse. A girl would come up to you and do the kiss thing, and if you didn't react or if you didn't check to see who was doing it, she'd resent you for it. She'd get mad at you and ask you if you wanted to know if she was being truthful about the kisses or not. But you were screwed no matter what you did. It was a weird position for us to be in because El Salvador, and I guess most Hispanic countries, have a reputation of extreme male chauvinism. The teachers wouldn't tell the girls to stop because they thought it was harmless, cute even, and none of us guys wanted to tell the teachers how annoyed we were because it seemed like such a silly thing to be bothered by. What really sucks is how this whole kissing thing finally stopped. One of the guys in my class kept being hounded by this girl constantly. She was real mean about it too, calling him gay for not responding to her advances. So one day he finally snapped, and after a month straight of this girl pestering him and him telling her to stop, he clocked her, straight up punched her in the face and broke her nose. He was expelled from our school, and after that incident, the girl stopped doing it out of fear of ending up like that other girl. But Tarkan still kept showing up. Years later, he'd randomly come on the radio when I'd be driving in my car, with the radio DJ saying stuff like, "Here's a blast from the past all the way from Turkey," and I'd quickly switch the station before the kiss kiss part came on. Or one time, I was at a bar with some of my classmates from back in the day, and Shimarik started playing, so we all hurried to the bar and we all ordered shots of tequila to counteract our weirdly unique case of pop song PTSD. But Tarkan still wasn't done with me yet. He popped up in my life again when I was going to film school in San Francisco. I was in my dorm room when a friend showed up and he invited me to go drink with a guy he knew. So we're at his friend's place and it turns out this guy used to be a knife thrower in a traveling circus. So all throughout the night I'd be drinking and having a fun time until I'd hear a ka-chunk and I'd see a huge knife that just landed a few feet from where I was sitting, because our host had a whole bunch of makeshift targets set up all around his apartment, and every time he threw a knife and got a bullseye, he'd drink a shot of whiskey to celebrate. He'd juggle knives right in front of us, and he did the alien thing where he set his hand on a table and he started stabbing in between his fingers and his hand got all fucked up. He also had a set of throwing axes, and he'd ka-chunk them onto the targets. It was completely fucking insane. So after a couple hours of fearing for my life, but pretending I'm cool with knives being thrown all around me, I notice our host running around his apartment like he's looking for something. I keep drinking and playing video games with my friend until he comes over and turns the TV off. And me and my friend are like, what the fuck, man? And he says, we gotta go right now. The goddamn Arabs got my fucking knife again. So he tells us to come with him. And as soon as we step out onto the street, I realize just how fucking drunk I am. So we're walking the streets of San Francisco at 4 in the morning, and the knife-throwing dude's mumbling to himself something about the fucking Arab always going over to his place and stealing his knives when he isn't looking. So we get to the Arab's house, and he turns out to be a huge buff dude. He lets us in, and our knife thrower friend starts yelling at him, saying stuff like, I know you fucking stole my knife, where the fuck is it? And the Arab tells him, suck my dick, ass boy. And while that's going on, my friend tells me he's gonna try to steal some of the Arab's liquor because it's his fucking fault we're here in the first place. And I grab my friend by the collar and I tell him that it's his fucking fault we're here in the first place, not the fucking Arabs. And why the fuck can't we get drunk like normal dudes and not have the fucking ka-chunk of knives being hurled at our fucking faces? We hear something break in another room and my friend runs into the kitchen to raid the fridge. So I walk into the living room and I sit on the couch and I suddenly start to feel real weird. My head starts spinning, but it isn't the alcohol, it's something else. I can faintly hear a familiar sound, and then I notice that during the time we've been here, the Arab stereo's been pumping out music real loud. And that's when everything slows down, and all the chaos around me comes to a standstill, and I hear it. It's 4 in the morning and I'm in some stranger's apartment. I'm thousands of miles away from the country I call home, and in the middle of all this craziness, fucking Shimarik is blasting out of the Arab's sound system. So I cover my face with one of the couch cushions, and a weird half scream, half laugh comes out of my mouth. And the next thing I know, the Arab's escorting me and my friend out of his apartment, and I feel even drunker than I did before. We get pushed out, and the knife thrower is already outside, holding the knife that we came here to get back. So I turn around, and just as the Arab's gonna slam the door on us, I stumble over to where he is and I push my hand against the door. And he tells me, go home. And I keep pushing on the door so it won't close, and I tell him, that is fucking Tarkan. And the Arab's eyes get huge, and he doesn't know what to make of me. My friend and the knife thrower dude are telling me they're gonna leave me if I don't hurry the fuck up. And I turn to the Arab and I say, in there, that music. That's fucking Shimarik. Me and that song have a history. So the Arab looks me right in the eyes and he says, I love that song. That is my favorite song. And he slams the door in my face. My friend and the knife thrower went back to his place to keep drinking, but I went to my dorm room to pass out. I wake up hungover as fuck in the afternoon the next day, and the Arab's words keep playing out in my head. So I call my friend later that day, and I tell him that I want to hang out with the knife thrower dude this coming weekend. And I also tell him that I have a plan that he's gonna help me out with. So me and my friend go to his place again that weekend, and our host is yet again throwing sharp objects dangerously close to our faces. So me and my friend tell the knife thrower that we want to see more of his cool tricks, and we keep getting him more and more drunk. So many close calls and near misses later, the knife thrower says he's gotta go piss, and as soon as he closes the bathroom door, I go into his bedroom while my friend acts as a lookout. So I look around his room until I find his prized knife underneath his bed. I open his apartment's window and I throw the shitty knife out into some bushes below, and then I go sit back down next to my friend. So he comes out, and after doing more tricks, he eventually tells us it's time for the grand finale, and he goes into his bedroom to get his knife, and moments later, he storms out of his room, and he tells us, "The goddamned Arab's fucking done it again." So we walk over there, the Arab opens the door, "Where the fuck is my knife? Suck my dick, ass boy." I tell the knife dude to go look for it in the Arab's bedroom, and then I run back to the living room. When I get there, the Arab tells me, "How do you know Tarkan?" So I take a deep breath and I go into it. 1999, MTV, me warning my classmates, being told I was crazy, girls doing the kiss thing, none of us wanting to say anything, girl getting punched in the face, Shimarik on the radio, Shimarik at a bar, Shimarik on the fucking couch a week ago. And the dude half smiles and strokes his chin. He walks over to a drawer and he pulls out a Ziploc bag with a Tarkan album inside it, and he gingerly holds it with his huge fucking hands, and he tells me, "This album is very important to me. It is my favorite music album." He tells me that when he was growing up in Turkey, he and his dad would always argue because his dad was super patriotic, but he was of a newer era and he didn't care much for Turkish customs. He liked listening to hip-hop from the States, like Public Enemy and Run DMC, and he'd dream of someday going to live in a big city in the USA, and this made his dad furious. When he was in his late teens, they had a huge fight, and his dad kicked him out of the house and told him he never wanted to see him again. And they didn't talk for 10 years, until one day he was at the gym, and a Turkish song came on the radio that had a strange kiss-kiss part at the end of the chorus. He waited around the gym's stereo until at the end of the song, the DJ mentioned it was a song called Shimarik. So he went out and he bought the CD and he listened to it at home non-stop for a week straight. Something about the album struck a chord with him. It made him embrace his Turkish origins, and he wept bitter tears over the years he hadn't spoken with his father. So he went back home and he told his father about his change of heart, and they used Turkish music as a sort of bridge between two very different generations of Turkish men. His father became severely ill 2 years later, and when he died, he left his son an inheritance, along with his dying wish that he go to the big city in the USA to live out his dreams. That is why this is my favorite album, he says. He slaps me on the shoulder and he tells me he's sorry my experiences with the song have been all bad, and he hopes that by sharing his story with me, it'll make it easier for me to listen to that song the next time I come across it. So I thank him and I tell him that my name's Andres, but people call me Andy. And he tells me his name's Erhan, but people call him Arab. So we shake hands, and my friend tells him the knife the dude's looking for is in the bushes under his apartment window. So me and my friend start making our way back to our dorms at 4 in the morning, and life went on like usual. Film school stuff, drinking, and now that the Tarkan stuff had been sorted out, we both agreed to never hang out with the knife thrower ever again.